Hi, everyone. I am Jennifer. I want to talk about First Samuel chapter 1, where Hannah was crying and praying about her need for a child. And I want to reflect it to what I learned today in um, maturity class in my church that they spoke about supplication as a type of prayer and petition as a type of prayer. And the question here is Hannah's prayer a petition prayer or supplication prayer? Um, you can also give me your comments at the comment section. Tell me what you think. But I'm just gonna share what I think it is. From verse 9. So Hannah rose after they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh. Now Eli, the priest, was sitting on the seat by the doorpost of the tabernacle of the Lord. Verse 10. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish. 11. Then she made a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if you would indeed look on the affliction of your maid servant and remember me, and not forget your maid servant, but will give your maid servant a male child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall come upon his head. And it happened, verse 12, and it happened as she continued praying before the Lord that Eli watched her mouth. Verse 13, now Hannah spoke in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she was drunk. So Eli said to her, how long will you be drunk? Put your wine away from you. Verse 15, but Hannah answered and said, no, my Lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunken neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but have poured out my heart before the Lord. Now, supplication is anchored on the word of God. That's what we learned. And this is where you present your case to God without the word of God. It is like a vain repetition. So you're praying over something, you're not backing it up with the word of God, you know. Then petition is you're talking to God about a case, a situation in your life, asking Him to do something, and you're not backing it up with the Word of God. Now, the question is, which one was Hannah doing? Some people said it's petition, that she wasn't using the Word of God. But if you look at verse 9, um, and she wept in anguish. Okay, verse 10. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish. 11. Then she made a vow and said, O Lord. Here she was telling God to give her a child. Then she said, no razor will come upon his head. If you remember Samson, she must have read about Samson and thought, hmm, no razor will come upon his head is also a word of God. Just because she did not um quote it, oh, I got it from Torah versus this in Torah. She didn't do that, but she referenced Samson's um story as she promised God because she has heard that kind of thing happening in the Bible, and she promised God, I'm not going to put a razor on his head. Then here it was also saying that she was praying from the bitterness of her heart. Her lips were moving, she was groaning in her spirit, which means she was praying in the spirit. And the last time I heard, the spirit of God, when you groan in the spirit of God is praying. You when you groan in the spirit of God is praying the heart of God. So, and the heart of God cannot go against his own word. So she was doing petition and supplication at the same time. That's my take. What do you think? All right. Say your thoughts in the comment section. I'll be waiting. We'll keep deliberating on the word of God. Ciao. Bye.